Tuesday here on The Roast. Shout out to everybody on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. All my graveyard shift workers, garbage men, janitors, all you guys getting off your shift. Good morning to you. Hopefully you had a great night out there. My overnight dancers, you know, strippers. Hey, it's a Monday. The basketball team's back in town. Hoops are about to start up. Hopefully business is picking up for you. Good morning to all the teachers, cops, highway patrol officers, muni drivers, BART drivers, you name it, plumbers, beer salesmen. The list goes on and on and on. Spadoni, Shasky, and Sam Lubman. I'm feeling good right now. The Comcast Business Text Line. Don't want to forget about you guys. Good morning to you. Thank you for all the participation in the show. Had a great time yesterday at Media Day, Shasky. I thought we had a fun show. The Niners are rolling. It's Cowboys week. We got Farhan Zaidi's presser today at 11 a.m. down at Oracle Park. Lutman has convinced me to go down there. I didn't know if I wanted to sit in on the word salad that he's going to give us at 11 o'clock, but you know what? Let's see what it is. Let's see what he says about fixing the San Francisco Giants. But it is Cowboy Niner week. Got to meet Chris Paul yesterday at Draymond Green, and the vibes right now with the Golden State Warriors are immaculate. The vibes are good.
Immaculate.
The vibes are good.
It's an incredible sentence.
The vibes are good. And I'm feeling good, Shasky. Hey, I honestly, driving in, we're in the Bay. I'm so glad I wasn't born anywhere else. I'm so glad my mom's side of the family migrated from Highland Park, Michigan to San Francisco. I'm so glad my father's side of the family migrated from Lake Charles, Louisiana and Beaumont, Texas to San Francisco, because there's nothing like being a Bay Area fan. We got it popping out here. The NFC goes through San Francisco, and I think the NBA championship's going to come through San Francisco. But that's just what I'm going to say right now. Good morning to you, Shasky. Go ahead, start wherever the hell you want to start off. I didn't get that off my chest.
Well, it is Cowboy week.
It's Cowboy week.
And I know you got a lot of Warrior takes, and I would love to hear all of them.
I got takes on everything.
But I want to talk about the 49ers and what they've got going right now and how we need to be very, very appreciative of the now. And I've heard you and Mark go back and forth about Super Bowl or bust versus Super Bowl and try again. The reality is that rosters are constantly evolving.
Yep.
And when you pay the quarterback, it just becomes a little harder to field the team around him. Now, when you pay a guy like Patrick Mahomes, okay, we all would agree, Patrick Mahomes is going to make a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster, who last year entered on a one-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, look a lot better than what he did in Pittsburgh.
And you're going to attract free agents to come play with you.
Absolutely.
On minimum deals. It's kind of like the Warriors effect when you get the David Lee or David West of the world who are like, oh, I want to go there. Like Dario Saric, talked to him yesterday. This just feels like a great place to play. And I know I had made him wait a little bit, but this culture, this team,
absolutely.
How would you not want to play with Stephen Curry? Same thing with Patrick Mahomes.
Well, and like Juju's a great example. 1 year deal, I'll have a good year, and then I'll bounce and get a 3-year deal from the New England Patriots. But they kept Travis Kelce, but they couldn't afford Tyreek Hill. You have to balance out the books. But we all agree that Patrick Mahomes can win you a game if he's down a couple of guys on offense, or if you start to subtract from that offense because he's making so much. I'm watching Daniel Jones last night, and we'll get into Dak Prescott as well. I'm watching Daniel Jones last night, and there's a variety of things that come to my head. Number one, he's not worth that kind of money.
No.
Number two,
close. They haven't opted out after next season, though. Good for the New York Giants.
No doubt.
With the 4-year, $160 million extension.
But he's not worth the money.
No, he's not.
Number two,
not even close.
When you pay him that much money, it makes it a little more difficult to round out the roster financially around him, which makes it imperative that you hit on draft picks.
Yeah, no doubt. Real quick, isn't it laughable that they made Saquon Barkley waited out, and signed a 1-year tender, and they gave Daniel Jones money? We see who's more valuable on that team. We can make the argument that Christian McCaffrey's the most valuable offensive player for the 49ers. Well, Saquon Barkley's the most valuable offensive player for the New York Giants. It's not even close.
They should have franchise tagged Daniel Jones in the same way that Washington football team did with Kirk Cousins. That's what I would have done. Okay? That's no more financial obligation. You could do it 2 years in a row if he has a great year, and you could try to figure out some sort of a contract extension. The Niners are going to play Dak Prescott this week, okay? And Dak, to me, is the closest. It's not a like for like, but it's going to be one of the closest financial comparisons to what Brock Purdy and the 49ers are going to be going through over the next couple of years. In year one, 2016, Dak was making $450,000. $450,000. Now, Tony Romo was making 20-something million that year, obviously went down. Listen to the offense that they had around Tony Romo, making $22 million. Zeke, Cole Beasley, Dez Bryant, Terrence Williams, Jason Witten, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. They had Sean Lee on defense. They had 4 All-Pros on offense, 1 on defense. That's his rookie year when he's making $450,000. As the team has evolved, okay, as they've gone, they've had to hit in the draft and move off of proven players. Amari Cooper, making a lot of money, proven player, had some good years for the Cowboys. They said, no, we're going to draft CeeDee Lamb. And actually, it's been an upgrade.
No, and you know what? I'm not mad at that because we watch Amari Cooper in the Raider uniform, and Spadoni knows this. Amari Cooper would have games where he has 2 catches for 12 yards. He have a game where he'd explode, but he was far too inconsistent.
Yes.
And you know what?
Yes.
As a Cowboy, he was far too inconsistent. That was a shrewd move by the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know where you're going here. Couldn't you make the argument right now that even though Dak is making money that he's making, they still have an excellent roster around them?
Because they've drafted well.
Right. They get credit for that.
We could talk a lot about what Jerry Jones isn't, but what they have done well, Bunty, they've drafted really well.
The New York Giants have it. Troy Aikman mentioned on the Monday Night Football broadcast yesterday.
That's my point.
In the last 3 years, the Giants, more so than any team in football, has spent 5 picks on offensive linemen. That's most of the NFL. They haven't hit on anything with the offensive line.
And because you're paying Darren Waller, who's a good player, and because you're paying Daniel Jones that much, and Barkley, you're not going to be able to sign offensive linemen. Yeah. So you have to hit on those draft picks, and they haven't. I look at their wide receiver core. I mean, Bonte, their wide receivers scare no one.
No.
The New York Giants, right?
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't scare anyone.
They're not good at all. They're in for a long. You know what? They may now be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. That's a bad football team. No outside weapons. And it feels like they haven't had outside weapons for like 3 years. Ever since they traded Odell Beckham Jr., name a Giants wide receiver.
Victor Cruz.
Kenny Galladay was a massive whiff for them. And they spent a lot of money on him. He held them back. So bad free agent signings, bad draft picks, and now Brian Daboll's got to fix this thing or they're going to be blowing him out of New York by next season.
No doubt. I mean, when I look at like Daniel Jones making $40 million, everyone's agreeing. Yeah. We're all nodding our head. He's not worth that money.
We knew that before the season when they signed him. He's just not.
So where I'm going with this is this.
By the way, can we get that caller back?
The one who wanted Daniel Jones over Brock Purdy?
He said Daniel Jones is better than Brock Purdy.
I mean, it's laughable. Like I'm not even going to argue. It's laughable. But I look at the rookie year for Dak Prescott. Okay, he started all 16 games. Yeah. He goes 13-3, 68% completion, 3,600 yards, 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. It's about as efficient and as good as you get. Making $450,000. It's one of the best bangs for buck in sports in the last 10 years.
Well, until Brock Purdy came along, because now Brock Purdy's making nearly $900,000 on this roster, and he looks like a top 7 quarterback. He just went 20-21 for 283. So he's making $900,000.
And it's different because everybody values positions different, whatever. Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, both making about $40 million this year. If I subtracted $40 million from the 49ers offense, that's CMC, that's George Kittle, and that's part of Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at, Niner fans, at some point we're going to have to pay Brock. And we're all here for it because he's a very good player. And let's not get too ahead of ourselves because stuff happens. It's the league, right? Yep. Enjoy the now because this team is loaded. Yep. And they've got the best bang for buck in sports when it comes to Brock Purdy making under $1 million.
Well, you look at the Cowboys' offensive line, very good when they're healthy.
Yes, agreed.
And here's the thing about that
I love about these NFL
quarter. I'm looking at Dak Prescott contract right now. There's an out clause after the season for the Dallas Cowboys, which is why they trade for Trey Lance and why they have Cooper Rush. They could kick the tires on Trey Lance. They kick the tires on Cooper Rush, and they can make moves to go get another quarterback. They are the Dallas Cowboys. They will replace Dak in a heartbeat. So for Dak Prescott, the pressure is immense. And I heard Spadoni on the way in play the cut where they asked him about Niners Cowboys, and Dak was saying, yeah, I think about it every single day. Well, he's going to think about it all week long, and he'll think about it come January, and he'll think about it in the offseason when he gets beat again in January. Listen. This is his last year with the Dallas Cowboys.
You think?
And I think he's unless he wins a Super Bowl, he is done in a Cowboys uniform.
Well, they got to pay CeeDee Lamb coming up here.
Yep, exactly.
And he's going to command a lot of money, right? He's back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver. So in 2022, the season of 2021, the Niners beat him 23-17. Let me give you Dak's numbers, okay? He was not good in that game.
Oh, I was
Sacked
there.
5 times, an interception, 55% completion, completely rattled. But you know why they were in that game?
Because of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo was 16 of 25, 172 yards, running for his life, and threw one of the worst picks of all time.
The second half, Jimmy Garoppolo was it was like they were trying to hang on for dear life. That was some bad football for the quarterback spot. I remember being at that game thinking, he threw an interception to get him right back into the game. The Niners should have won that game going away. It should not have come down to the final possession.
You know what I misremember?
That was,
how good Elijah Mitchell was in that game.
Oh, he was running hard.
Elijah, 27 of 96 yards?
Well, no, Deebo Samuel was the guy in that game.
10 for 72 with 3 catches at 38 yards. But Elijah going for 96? I didn't remember that.
No, Elijah was good, but Deebo was really taking the storm.
Brandon Aiyuk was good, too.
I also remember, he missed Brandon Aiyuk on a wide open. Yeah, don't even get me started on that. But they won the game. But
Dak came up short.
No, he did come up short.
The very next year, they lose 19-12 at Levi Stadium. Okay, this is what I think.
You know what? Now I'm starting to remember that game for. Before we move on, Jimmy Garoppolo and the bad picks, but I also remember the alert that Draymond Green suffered a back injury.
Yes,
and I'm thinking the sky is falling after I was talking trash on Twitter, and I'm like, dear God, the Warriors and Draymond Green, the Niners are about to lose. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a rough flight back. Continue.
No. The very next year, Dak throws 2 interceptions. Pollard breaks his ankle. Zeke has they held the Cowboys in both games to under 80 yards rushing.
Honestly, both of those games, and I've told Guru this for a long time. Every time you give a snap to Zeke Elliott, every time you give him the ball, it's a wasted rep. I truly believe that.
I think you're right.
Whenever you give Zeke the ball in the last 2 years, I thought he was done. I thought he was cooked. I thought he was washed. I thought he's 2 yards in a cloud of dust. Not even 3 yards in a cloud of dust. He was awful. And so I thought, hey, you want to give the ball to Zeke Elliott? Fine. Pollard was the better player the last 2 years.
I agree. In the game last year, Brock was better than Dak. Dak turned it over twice. Okay? When he leaves the Dallas Cowboys, and it's going to be because he was 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, sacked 6 times, and lost both games in the playoffs to the 49ers.
No doubt.
And I keep thinking about this, B. If he's making $20 million and they have one more playmaker, just hypothetically, that might be the difference in both games.
You know what, though? They paid Zeke. And you know what? That could have been a bad move. Paying that running back who was basically out of shape for the last 3 to 4 years.
Only had 3 good years.
I still think they've had a Super Bowl roster the last 3 years.
I agree with that.
They just ran into the 49ers. That's it. They ran into the 49ers.
You don't think one playmaker makes a difference?
They had playmakers. Amari and CeeDee Lamb is as good as a tandem as there is in the league. And then they had Michael Gallup. And then they had Michael Gallup in the slot.
They did.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to carry 3 playmaking running backs, right?
But when you pay Zeke and you pay Dak, you got to get to Pollard production. You got to get one more guy. I mean, CMC is a superstar. He was held to 10 for 35 yards.
Nah, see, I think the Cowboys, even though they were paying Dak, it was enough.
Okay.
I think the Zeke Elliott contract, more so than the Dak Prescott contract, held them back. They should have moved up to Zeke and that money and got another playmaker. The quarterback, sure, Dak is overpaid. I'm with you there. Dak is overpaid.
Slightly,
no doubt about it.
Yes.
Slightly overpaid. But keeping Zeke around and that money alongside Tony Pollard, you could have used another game-breaking running back or another slot receiver. Now, Michael Gallup getting hurt them. CeeDee Lamb is a very good player. And they had the tight ends. Actually had good tight ends.
Schultz, who left in free agency because they couldn't afford him.
I know Dak's going to get all the headlines. But when I look at Zeke Elliott and what he was making the last 2 years, I'm thinking, that was the guy you should have moved off of to get another playmaker if you needed it.
When they had his best season, essentially his most efficient season, he was making less than 1% of the cap. That's Dak Prescott. Currently, he's somewhere, depending on the guarantees, between 11 and 14% of the cap. Brock is making less than 1% of the cap right now. And I'm thinking to myself, they've got multiple years before they have to pay him. They're in such an advantageous situation. And unlike the Zeke contract, the CMC contract feels like a bargain because you get 2 players for the price of his $13 million.
Look what they're paying Zeke in 2022. $12.4 million.
Which is about what CMC's getting now.
Yeah, it's a joke.
About
9.6 the year before, $20 million the year before. Just not worth it. It's just not worth it.
No, it's not.
I mean, he made $73 million in 8 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys.
One of the top 7 highest paid Cowboys ever.
Yeah, it's not, and it wasn't worth it.
Dak Prescott got $95 million guaranteed. Niner fans, we talked a lot about the Nick Bosa contract. Nick Bosa was worth more than Dak Prescott guaranteed.
No doubt.
Wouldn't you
No
agree?
doubt. No
Like,
doubt.
it's not even a debate.
And it's Cowboys week. Sunday night football.
I'm so fired up.
Sunday night football. We got Chris Paul in the building with Draymond Green. Talked to both of them, all the Warriors coaching staff. It's going down in the Bay Area, man. The Giants will close the book on their season. We'll hear from Farhan at 11 o'clock. We have some thoughts on the fire. We got Brian Baldinger coming up at 7:30 to break this Cowboy week down. Because there's a lot of things I want to get into it with Baldy. This week, we took a week off from looking at Spencer Burford and Colton McKivitz. They are X factors this Sunday, trying to slow down Micah Parsons. I want to know how much had they improved over the first quarter of the season. You know, I don't care who's the best team in the NFL right now. I'm seeing all these power rankings. Who's better, Philly or San Francisco? Right now, it really doesn't matter. It does not matter. We're both 4-0. We're on a collision course. Now, Seattle's 3-1. They won an ugly game last night against the New York Giants. They've got some good DBs. That defense is starting to come together. But Daniel Jones, the Giants, that was so bad, Shasky. There's so many bad football teams. But we got Baldy coming up, and then we'll talk to George Contos about the Giants in the 8 o'clock hour. But there's so much going on in the Bay right now, and it all starts with the Niners and the Cowboys. And for Ron and Hayward to call yesterday and say, we haven't played anybody, well, what are you going to say this week when the Niners beat up on the Cowboys? Oh, they're not the same. They don't have Trayvon Diggs. I'm not here for the excuses. We know who looks good right now. The Niners right now are looking like a complete football team. And yes, the Brock Purdy contract is a godsend. It is a godsend.
We could talk so much about what he is on the field as a player, but baked into it, which I can't unsee, is the value you're getting from him. The value is unbelievable.
And that's why, to me, it's not Super Bowl or try again. It's Super Bowl. It take advantage of the now.
You got to win one right now.
You got to win one right now. You got to have the coronation at the end of this season because you don't know what's going to. The league is so year to year and injuries happen. I'm not trying to talk about next year. Hey, try again. No. I think Shanahan's going to be here long term, but this may be his best shot.
Wouldn't you agree, Mahomes? When he was on that rookie deal, those were his best chances because if they could fill the roster around. Not that he's not better now. He is better now. It's just harder to field the team.
Yeah.
It's very simple. And we all think Mahomes is amazing. It's really difficult. Why do you think they had the Chris Jones holdout?
Yeah, no doubt. All right, this segment was brought to you by Golden State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com. Shout out to the YouTube and Twitch streamers. Brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union, 888-957-9570. How much do you really hate the Dallas Cowboys? And by the way, roasters, all my roasters out there, the roasters roll deep. Do you know those guys in 105.3 The Fan? We're going to do our simulcast this week. They said no mas. They don't want to smoke.
Yeah.
They don't want to smoke with the roasters. Unbelievable. So, you know what? Go ahead, call Sean, RJ, Bobby Boucher. Let them know how scared they are. Let them know just how wimpy they are. Can't have a nice little back and forth with you guys at 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. They said no mas. We good off those roasters. We good off those Bay Boys. All right, what's coming up on the game, sponsored by Flag and Anthem. Your phone calls, 888-957-9570. It is Cowboy Week. Let's continue to break this down. Plus, we got a bevy of Warrior Sound. Chris Paul, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Wiggs. Ron Adams joined us yesterday. Q, Bruce Frazier. Mike Dunleavy Jr. was on with Steiny and Goo. A lot going on at Chase Center yesterday's training camp starts for the Golden State Warriors today. You got Farhan Zaidi speaking at 11 o'clock. I'm telling you, folks, I am so blessed to be born in the Bay. Oh, it feels so good to be a Bay boy. More coming up on the Morning Roast here on 95.7 The Game. Yeehaw!
Brought to you by Flag and Anthem. Premium clothes without the premium price tag.
It's officially fall here in the Bay. And what better way to welcome...
was the feeling leaving that locker room last January against those guys? No,
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we're so far past that, to be honest with you, but that's obvious. I mean, you just want to piss me off going into this week, and I appreciate that. I do, actually. I do. Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Does that loss drive you guys?
I mean, every day. Every day. Every day, Ty, every day.
Now, back to the morning roast with Bonte and Shasky.
That was after the Cowboys destroyed the New England Patriots 38-3. They look really good defensively. 2 pick sixes. The offense was humming. CeeDee Lamb had a special day. And the Cowboys are coming, folks. They're coming to Levi Stadium Sunday. 5:20 kickoff. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth will be in the building. A who's who of legends will be in the stadium. Anna told me yesterday, Baby Chance is staying at home. She's got to lock in. I said, okay, it's serious. It's Cowboys week, folks. 888-957-9570. Brian Baldinger will join us at 7:30. It feels like the 90s again. It feels like the 70s again when the Niners and Cowboys were tangoing for supremacy in the NFC. Now, there's a team out there in Philadelphia that has something to say about everything. And look, I know I get on their fans, and I know Seth is texting in with us on the Comcast Business text line. Philly right now is the best. I'm going to give them the nod in the NFC. That is a very good football team. Their fan base, I don't care about. Their team hurts. They're a problem. A.J. Brown is a problem, and I have sleepless nights thinking about him and Devontae Smith. But we'll get to Philadelphia at some point or later in the season. It's all about beating the Dallas Cowboys and making sure that, hey, if you want to go to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to either go through Philadelphia or you're going to have to go on the road and go to Levi Stadium. But Cowboy fans will infiltrate Levi Stadium. There will be a lot of blue in the stadium. They travel. They have a bunch of bandwagon fans. And they're going to present the challenge defensively that the Niners haven't seen yet. T.J. Watt was special, and he single-handedly tried to keep the Steelers in the game. But they got some dudes on that Dallas defense that is going to present a challenge to Brock Purdy in this offense.
The only, and I know I don't want to bring his name up this week, but it's almost impossible not to because I know he plays now for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a third stringer, but he's not going to play Trey Lance. The only negative on the whole Trey Lance swinging and missing, because like you could say, hey, they traded 3 picks, but they found Brock Purdy. And I'll listen to that. But it's impossible for me to not also see, God, they could have had Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard for me not to see that. And so you're right. Yes. Seeing that they whiffed on Trey Lance, which is fine, because Brock Purdy's way better than Trey Lance has ever been, and it's not even close right now. But like, it's also hard for me to unsee. You could have used that capital to go select Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons is maybe the only other guy outside of T.J. Watt I'm trading for Nick Bosa. Well, and I'm not doing that. I'm saying I would listen to it.
But I'm happy with Nick Bosa. He hasn't even started yet.
Of course. But it's hard to not envision Parsons and Bosa together.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we didn't even know, but I didn't know Micah Parsons was this good coming out of Penn State. And we watch a lot of Penn State. Like, we watch college football. Penn State's on nationally. Probably watch in 3 to 4 games. I was not aware Micah Parsons was that special. Oh, I was not. I slept on that one.
He looks better than LeVar Arrington ever did.
Yeah, there's just not even
And I thought LeVar Arrington was going to be that guy.
LeVar Arrington underachieved. Him and Courtney Brown.
He had a decent career.
He had a long career, but he underachieved. Which team do you hate the most? That's right. Courtney Brown. Remember that? Cleveland Browns?
I haven't heard.
He was drafted before
the
LeVar.
Browns?
With the Browns.
Yeah.
He was drafted
before
the black
LeVar. Visor.
Number 92.
That's a name I've not heard.
Yeah.
Long time.
That's right, old Ben.
Which team do you hate the most? Penn State has had some whiffs. I give you Courtney Brown. Then I also give you Kajana Carter. Yeah. You know, what about Kerry Collins? Was he good? I do like me Smo J. McDuffie.
Mushin Muhammad.
No, that was Michigan State.
Was he Michigan State?
Yeah, Michigan State.
Why did I think he was Penn State?
Yeah, Michigan State. Which team do you hate the most? That's our YouTube poll question of the day. Is it Cowboys, Eagles, or Seahawks? 70 votes in early. Cowboys, 59%. Are we now back to hating the Cowboys more so than the Seattle Seahawks? Because I was watching the Seahawks yesterday, and I had a couple bets in that was favored the Seahawks, but I was like, God, it sucks to root for them. Pete Carroll's running up and down the sideline.
Can I give you some on the Seahawks that I was thinking about watching that game? Belichick's great. We all agree, right?
Yep.
The era of being the head coach and the GM it's over. The job is too difficult.
Yeah.
It's so hard. You cannot be the play caller and worry about the defense and all that and scout every player in the league and scout every kid in college. It's just really hard. Pete Carroll is aging better than than Bill Belichick because of John Schneider.
Right.
John Schneider has had big whiffs in the draft. Big whiffs. I mean, they've taken how many running backs early in drafts, and really feels only like Kenneth Walker's the one that's hit. They traded for Jamal Adams, and he's barely played.
Yeah, he suffered a concussion yesterday.
It was a bad trade. But they've reloaded that roster, and they moved off of what I thought was a Hall of Fame quarterback. And you know why? Because they found a kid in Witherspoon after passing on Jalen Carter who looks like he belongs in the LOB. They've got DK Metcalf. They've got Lockett. They drafted the kid from Ohio State.
Draymond Jones in the middle of that defensive line is pretty good.
They found
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
2 tackles in the draft last year. They've reworked that offensive line. They've made the most out of Geno Smith. Like, you know why Belichick is aging poorly? Because he's the GM.
Right.
And the GM has done in the coach. You know why Pete Carroll is continuing to really look good? Because John Schneider and him are a great tandem.
They've drafted well.
That was my thought watching that game last night.
Well, my thought was I can't stand Pete Carroll again because you see him up and down the sideline cheerleading after sacking Daniel Jones 11 times, and it looked like he was just trying to run it up before a second. Forget Pete Carroll.
He's a winner, though, B.
He is a winner. But you know what? F Seattle. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
I respect him, though.
I don't mean to say that. I don't know. There's kids in the car, but Seattle makes me sick. That's what I was watching. I said, I got to deal with these jokers again. All of a sudden, the softies and our boy Jimmy Lee on Twitter, all of a sudden, he's got to be chirping saying, hey, the LOB is coming. And you know what? Sandwiched in between that Philadelphia game are the Seattle Seahawks. You see them twice in 3 weeks.
I know.
And they've got some personnel that they've drafted strictly for the 49ers.
Yes.
You know, Kenneth Walker III is a bruiser.
Yes.
He's a good running back. That backup out of UCLA is a good running back.
And wants to hit you.
And wants to smack you in the mouth.
Yeah.
So the body bag games for 3 straight weeks in Seattle, Philadelphia, and Seattle. I hate Seattle. I don't know where to rank them. I hate Eagle fans more than I hate the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I think it's a stand-up dude.
A.J. Brown
I think he's an ambassador for this league. A.J. Brown is a baller.
I saw Dumas yesterday. He was wearing like a sweater tucked in and he's looking glorious. And I was like, A.J. Brown's so sick.
Yeah.
So sick. That's all I keep thinking.
But you know, their personnel, Jalen Hurts is a stand-up dude.
Yes.
I like Jalen Hurts. I pull for guys like that. Dallas Goedert is a favorite. I like their roster. The fans I don't care about. But that's why I can't put the Eagles number 1. The Cowboys just make me sick. But right now, they're our little brothers. I laugh at the Cowboys. They're so jacked up in the fact that Dak said what he said coming into this break. I think about it every day. Mike McCarthy talking about this is the biggest game of the year. Dude, it's week 5. Take a chill pill. This is like Florida State early 90s against Miami when Florida State couldn't get over the hump over the Hurricanes because they were so jacked up in the brain. They put so much on the game that they're rattled.
You know what I fear? I fear now Philly's got DeAndre Swift, so they're probably not going to be in on this. I fear that Dallas makes a move for Jonathan Taylor.
We'll see.
Because that, to me, is the kind of piece that I think puts them into the Eagle-Niner category. Right now, they're a click below Niners-Eagles.
So,
me personally, I believe them to be just a click below. They get Jonathan Taylor. I think that puts them up on that level.
That's a problem.
Yes.
That's a problem. Which team do you hate the most? Our YouTube poll question of the day. Right now, Cowboys. Second is Seahawks. Third is Eagles. What about you, Shasky? Who is that team you hate right now? Is it the Cowboys number 1?
It's always going to be the Cowboys up there.
Seahawks number 2?
Currently, yeah.
Rams, where they at?
Like 4. Eagles have come up above them.
Packers anywhere on the list?
Nah, I don't even care about the Packers right now.
Yeah, they're done.
I mean, like, historically, yes, but not right now.
Yeah.
I find myself actually rooting for LaFleur and rooting for Justin Love. Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Justin Love. I've said Justin Love 15 times.
Jordan Love. Justin Love, Jordan Love. They're all love. It's a love fest. What's coming up on the game sponsored by Fremont Bank. Full service banking, no compromises. More coming up. Who do you hate? We got Baldy at 7:30. We're talking football. We will get in the media day at some point. Questions about Chris Paul. Questions about Draymond Green. Got to meet both of them. Got to meet Chris Paul. He was running material. It's going to be it was very interesting to see him in a Warriors uniform.
How big is he in person?
I feel like we see eye to eye. Maybe
he's that big.
He's a little shorter.
Chris Paul?
A little shorter than me. Well, we'll see on the Pro Bowl. So
he's that big? He's bigger than Steph?
They're like the same size.
I thought he was like 6 feet.
Yeah, they're like the same size. But screw the Seahawks. We'll get more into it coming up on the other side here on the roast.
Okay.
I'm telling you that fame and fortune are not what they're cracked up to be. Hi, this is...
This is Klay Thompson, and you are listening to the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. It better not be roasting me if I'm giving them all these intros.
No, we're not roasting you, Klay. It was good to see you yesterday at Media Day. Klay Thompson in good spirits. We'll get into the sound. He did answer some questions about his contract, saying, hey, man, life is good. I'm on 13th year of playing basketball. Whatever happens, happens. But my life is good. I like that mentality. Chris Paul, Draymond Green, Steph was back in the building, Trace Jackson Davis, J.K. And Ron Adams, of course, told us yesterday that the door is open for Jonathan Kuminga to maybe get some more minutes. There's an opportunity here. He has to take advantage of his reps in training camp as it starts today down at Chase Center. The boys are back at practice. First preseason game happening on Saturday against the L.A. Lakers. And then the season is on and popping October 24th on a Tuesday night when they host the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Cannot wait. We got basketball. We got Niners and Cowboys. We're talking about that right now. 888-957-9570. Why do you hate the Dallas Cowboys? What makes you sick about the Dallas Cowboys? Is it Jerry Jones? Is it the star in their helmet? Is it the hole in their roof so God can watch his favorite team, which is probably not his favorite team anymore because they don't win anything? What is it that you hate about the Dallas Cowboys?
Who's the more arrogant franchise, Niners or Cowboys?
Oh, the Cowboys.
Why do you say that so quickly?
Not even close. Aren't they like Laker fans?
What, Cowboy fans?
Yeah.
I'm talking about just the franchises themselves. Who holds themselves more arrogant?
They do. Come on. We hear from Drew Pearson. Just listen to him talk. Michael Irvin. You know, we're classy out here.
Oh,
with
we
the
are?
49ers.
Okay.
We're classy. We let the box score do the talking. We let the trophy case do the talking.
they had a trophy more recently than us.
Well, one more. I mean, you know.
1 year.
1 year. 1 year. But as Bill Wass said, they love to talk about themselves and how good they are. And when they get on top of you, they want to run up the score. And they do the stupid thing in honor of Tom Landry at the end of the game when they're kneeling the ball and they do the up-down. It's like, God, you guys are full of yourself. They're so full of themselves. Oh, I can't stand the Cowboys. Just talking about them makes me cringe.
You know what it is? Very few, and I'm sure that people would make this statement now about Niner fans, considering it feels like they're everywhere. Feels like very few of them have like Dallas roots. They feel more like a national team. No, I mean that.
No, they do. You're right.
Right? And so I think that's where my biggest frustration comes when I look at the Dallas Cowboys and their fans.
Mm-hmm.
I say to myself, like, you just watch them because they were America's team in the 90s or America's team in the 70s. And you really don't have any, quote unquote, like long allegiance to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Not that that is the number one reason why you have to be a fan of a team, but it's just like whenever I'm like, oh, you're a Cowboy fan. Yup. And I'm a Laker fan.
Yeah.
And I'm a Boston Bruin fan or a Chicago Blackhawk fan. You know what I mean? Like they're never, I'm a Ranger, Cowboy, you know.
I'm a Dodger fan.
Dallas Mavericks fan.
They're all over the place.
Do you get where I'm going?
Yeah, no, they're never Texas. That now, Sean and RJ, they try to act like they're Texas Rangers fans, and
Well,
you know, you see them tweeting about baseball
like a week ago.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's the problem with that. It ain't just their fans. The way they were talking when I was at the game, I was sitting next to this guy and his family. I said, "Dude, just stop talking. I don't want to cook you in front of your wife and your kids." He goes, "You're just a liberal from California." And I was like, "Oh, that's stuck deeply. Oh, ouch. What a comeback." And then, of course, I had the video where the guy behind me, was flipping me off, and he left in the third quarter because he quit on his team. They're soft. But Cowboy fans are so fragile with the brain.
When you agree, though, there's something that at least feels more sincere when it's New England, right? When it's a Boston fan, it's like, I know where their allegiances are.
Even Philadelphia.
Yes.
I give their fans.
Yes.
They're all
Totally
about
agree.
Philly. They're not going
I respect
Philly.
it more.
They're not Philly. Hey, we're going to root for the Orioles.
Yeah,
We're going to root for the Celtics.
Exactly.
It's Sixers, Eagles, Flyers, Phillies.
Yes, and I respect that.
You know?
Like when I meet a Boston fan, it's like I root for the Pats, the Celtics, the Bruins, and the Sox.
Yep.
I respect that.
Yankees. You know, in New York, it's split, but a lot of Mets, Jets fans.
Yeah.
You know, Islanders or Rangers, whatever, how they split it up.
Yes.
But it's all New York. In the Bay, I get it. When the Raiders were here, there's a lot of people who would like the Giants and like the Raiders or like the A's and like the Niners. It's all in the Bay, though. Dallas fans are all over the place. And they don't know if they like Dak or if they hate Dak. They don't know if they love Tony Pollard or hate Tony Pollard.
If I need a poster board to understand your fandoms,
Yeah.
I start to question you.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Let's go to Aaron in Santa Cruz. Aaron in Santa Cruz. Good morning to you. Welcome to the Morning Roast. Why do you hate the Dallas Cowboys?
What's up, boys? Yeah, so I used to bartend down in San Diego, and we were a Cowboys bar, and the creatures that would come out to watch these Cowboy games, I swear to God, we had $5 buckets of beer. They would tip 50 cents on a $5 bucket of beer. These guys were unreal. The most deplorable humans would come out and watch these games. Peg legs, eye patches, and they would sit there talking smack, beating an 0-17, and then getting rolled the next weekend. I mean, you talk about people watching. Unreal experience. And I'm a Niners fan down there. I keep my mouth shut, trying to work my tips. These guys, oh my God. Yes,
Aaron, was Long John Silver a Cowboy fan?
Yes, he had literally one leg and an eye patch. I'm not playing around with a star tattooed on his temple.
I.e., matey, go Jerry Jones.
Unbelievable. I just had to share that with you guys. They're specimens. I'll give you that. They're specimens.
All right. Thanks for the call, Aaron. That's awesome. We got a super chat for $2. That's a Rams fan. I'm not even going to read it. He's irrelevant. You know what it is, too, about the Cowboys is as we got into cable television and as we started to watch more and more ESPN and Fox Sports and we had time on our hands, every day, every week during football season, it's like it's the Cowboys television network. It's all about the Cowboys and what they did.
Well, and if
if they lose, the sky is falling. If they win, they're on path to the Super Bowl. And it's every single day. There's 32 teams in the NFL, and ESPN in these major markets act as if there's one team that exists.
Let's think about who's talking about these games. The broadcasters themselves: Tony Romo,
Cowboy;
Troy Aikman,
Cowboy;
Moose Johnson,
Cowboy;
at one point Jason Witten,
Cowboy.
Who am I omitting? There's got to be more.
No, but in the past, you had a lot. Donnie Meredith. Michael Irvin. But
Deion was there.
Deion was there. Don Meredith was one of the original voices of Monday Night
Jimmy
Football.
Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson's on Fox. So you've had a lot of Cowboys. And then
their representation is disproportionate to the other teams.
No doubt. No doubt. But it's not even that. It's the debate shows.
Yes.
It's all the shows. It's the first takes.
It's the fact that Skip is a Cowboy fan.
Skip, I don't even know how he's a Cowboy fan. When you're a journalist for so long, you're rooting for the Cowboy. Like I don't get it. But he's openly rooting for the Cowboys. You got Keyshawn Johnson on that set now.
Yeah.
He should be a Dallas Cowboy. You got T.O. sometimes jumping on some of these shows. He was a former Cowboy. It's just too much. It's too much all over our televisions every single year. For a long time, they were mediocre. And it's like, why are we spending so much time on them? Let's talk about Brady.
Yeah.
Well, they started doing that, right? But it's like the NFL is so beautiful because you can literally talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars and we will watch.
Yes.
You can talk about the Carolina Panthers and we will watch. It just makes it seem like it's the Cowboys and it's everybody else.
Well,
and that makes me sick.
Well, and nothing's worse than the Sunday night standalone game, Giants-Cowboys.
Oh, every single week. Every single year.
Washington Cowboys.
Weekend. Oh.
Like, it drives me nuts, and I get why they want to do it because they want to get that fan base. People either love to watch them or root against them and watch them. So, I understand it from a television standpoint, but you're right, man. We just shove them down our throats.
Yeah, always. 510 Comcast Business Text line. It's 100% the fans for me. 888-957-9570. Why do you hate the Dallas Cowboys so much?
Their brand, similar to the Yankee brand in the sense that they've really only won back in the day, and they haven't really won anything, and they haven't even been a high-level winner. The Niners haven't won the big one. They've been to 6 NFC Championship games in 12 or 13 years.
Well, let me see. 3 with Shanahan. Yeah, 3 with Harbaugh. Yeah.
6.
And the Cowboys haven't been to an NFC Championship game since the mid-'90s.
Right? I understand, they haven't won the big one. The Niners have been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 15 years, 6 NFC Championship games. They've been very, very successful, even though they had some horrific mixed in there as well. The Yankees have not been a factor in the actual playoffs since what, 2009?
Yeah. It's been a while.
When was the last time the Cowboys...
No, they've been to the playoffs. They just can't get past
the Houston Astros. I'm saying a factor in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, they've been factors. They've gone to league championship series. They've lost league championship series.
One time, I believe.
A couple times, I think.
Has
they
it
lost
been 2?
one.
I thought it was 1.
Well, we can look that up. But they've been
since 2009, it just feels like they haven't won anything in the playoffs. They might have won 1 or 2 series. It just doesn't feel like they can win the big one. And then I look at the Cowboys. Dak is 2-4 in his playoff career. 2-4. And the 2 wins came with losses immediately after the Niners.
Yeah, they lost the ALCS to the Astros
When was that?
in 2022. They lost another ALC. They lost 3 ALCSs since 2017.
Wow, so
3
they've been actually better than I thought.
Yeah, no, and they also lost in the league championship series in 2010. They lost it in 2012. So they've been to 5 league championship series, which is more than the Dallas Cowboys.
It's true.
So they've been knocking on the doorstep. They can't get over the Astros, can't get over the Red Sox, can't get over the Rays.
And the Red Sox are actually winning, World Series.
World Series, no doubt. So we will break down this game, man, because there's
I
a
see
lot
their
going
brands
on.
very similar to me.
Their brands are very similar. It's a national brand. But look, the Cowboys bounced back last week with a monster win. And I'm here to tell you, as much as I can't stand their fans and I can't stand their brand, their defense is really, really good. And they present challenges to the 49ers. With this defense, Jordan Lewis, solid corner. Leighton Vander Esch, solid middle linebacker. He plays well against the run. Malik Hooker's, he can make some plays out there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have Michael Parsons. And the Niners struggled blocking T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt single-handedly tried to keep that Steelers defense in the game. He single-handedly kept the Steelers from getting 40 dropped on them. Michael Parsons can be a game breaker, and he is so fast.
It feels like their team is very much built like the Jets, where if they get a lead, they can just rush the passer and then jump routes. And when they had Diggs, and it felt like they're a play from in front type of a team, a front running team. I don't mean that as a negative. I mean like just the way they're built stylistically
and the way they block. They got their blockers back last week. They got their offensive line back for the most part. They didn't have 3 guys against the Arizona Cardinals, and they lost in the desert. They bounced back last week. Look, if Dak Prescott, he can get time. He can get time. He got sacked 3 times last week. I get it. But if he gets time, now we look at the secondary of the 49ers saying, can you hold up against CeeDee Lamb? Can you hold up against Brandon Cooks? And can you hold up against Michael Gallup and Jake Ferguson? The Cowboys do present challenges. I'm not here to say that, hey, the Niners is going to smack the Cowboys around. This is a very good football team.
This is going to be a hard-hitting game. Do you fear Tony Romo more? Did you fear Tony Romo more than how you fear Dak Prescott?
I mean, the Niners really never played Tony Romo.
That one time in week 2.
I mean, they played him when they were good one time. Not really, because you knew Tony Romo would throw it up. He was,
they're more alike than we want to admit.
Tony Romo would throw some oh-no throws, too.
Yes.
A lot of oh-no throws. They are, like, who is the better Cowboy, Tony Romo or Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott gets a lot of heat. But you could say the Cowboys have had more success under Dak Prescott than they ever did under Tony Romo.
I think he hasn't had a losing season out when he's played a full year, right? He had the broken ankle, and so that kind of sabotaged their year. That year Andy Dalton had to play.
Right.
He's been wildly successful in terms of win-loss record.
That's what I'm saying.
Wildly successful.
You could say he's been more successful than Tony Romo.
But they've had really good teams around him, and I would say that their front office has done a really good job building that roster and reinventing that roster on the fly. Moving to go get Amari Cooper while he was on that rookie deal, although it didn't work out. Like, they had a really good wide receiver core. They flipped that, and then they went cheap with the rookie wide receiver and CeeDee Lamb. 900 yards, 1,100 yards, 1,300 yards. CeeDee Lamb has been better than Amari Cooper.
Yep. We'll get back out to the lines in just a second. This segment is sponsored by Golden State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com. You are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HG1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And do not forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams, sponsored by our very good friends at First NorCal Credit Union. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. And shout out to the Comcast Business text line as well. We see all your texts as we get ready for Cowboy Week. Niners and Cowboys. This team is really, really good. What is something the Niners are going to have to avoid without the obvious turnovers? Turnovers, you got to take care of the football. But I want to get to Smile and El Sobrante. Smile, what's happening? You're on the roast.
What's up, boys? I had a couple points, but I got a third one now that after you guys brought up the Tony Romo conversation. First thing, I want to confirm that as a Cowboys fan, I was not born in Dallas. But quick little story, when I was middle school, when the Cowboys-Niners had the rivalry going on in the 90s, We had there was like a lunchtime football program. First time I was introduced to football. I happened to be put on the Cowboys, so basically I've been a Cowboy since then. It wasn't really my choice, but I'm loyal, so stuck with them since then. Second point was I'm starting to kind of see the whole issue that people have with Cowboys fans, especially now since Dak has been quarterback, and this kind of bleeds into your point about Tony Romo versus Dak. For me, had the Cowboys stuck with Romo back when he was healthy and after he got healthy during Dak's little run during his rookie year, I think we could have won the Super Bowl because we had already smacked the Seahawks that year. The Patriots were whatever. They were still a good team, but I think we had a chance. But I will say this. The simple comparison is this. When Romo was out, you can look at his 2000, I forget what year it was exactly. The Cowboys went 1-11 that year without him. 3-1 while he was playing that year. When Dak has been injured, the Cowboys have been 5-1 with Cooper Rush, and I think 7-5 with Andy Dalton. I think that says it all. The Cowboys have had teams since Dak has been quarterback. Romo did not have a good team until 2014. He led the league in touchdown percentage, QBR, QB rating, completion percentage. Name the stat, he led the league. So that's it for me. Thanks, guys.
Interesting. Right. He brings up a lot of points there. I do think there was a period when Tony Romo took over, their just drafting wasn't as good. They did a lot more reaching and more classic Cowboy stuff. It feels like in the last 6 years, 7 years, drafting has been significantly better.
Yeah.
The development and the drafting, Diggs, Parsons. Even the linebacker that they took from Notre Dame years ago, that was a big swing, the kid who hurt his knee.
Jalen Smith.
He ended up being better than I think most people thought coming off that devastating knee injury.
Yeah, and they cut him and couldn't guard anybody. Couldn't guard anybody. So
you know what the big frustration is, though, B? For most fans? It could be Rams-Niners. It could be Jaguars versus the Saints. And you look in the stands, and there's that one Cowboy fan. They're everywhere. They're always at a game that has nothing to do with them.
That bugs you?
It does bug me.
Why?
I don't know.
There's fans everywhere. There's Raider fans at Niner games. Niners are playing the New York Giants, and there's Raider fans there. That bugs you? Because there's a Raider fan. People just enjoy football.
Yeah, but you don't wear. Why are you wearing your Raiders jersey?
Because you want to.
Your team's not even in it.
Why not? So you got to represent and say, hey, I'm here. Okay. I'm a Raider fan.
I
appreciate football.
I went to the Suns Nuggets, whatever, game 5 or game 6 when they got eliminated. I just wore a regular outfit.
That's you. If I was at a Suns Nuggets game, I'd be wearing a Warriors hat.
Really?
Yeah, why not? Hey, I'm here to watch basketball. I'm a basketball fan, but I'm a Dub fan too. Like that's it. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't bug me. Fans can do what they want. Your team's not in town. You want to go to a game? I
find that to be odd behavior. No. I'm a Cowboy fan. Let me walk through this parking lot even though my team isn't involved.
Hey, if they're not bothering anybody, why does it bother you?
I just think it's a weird look. That's me.
For me, I don't care. I go to a random game. I'm aware of something that rests my team. I'm here. And we can talk, and I'm going to sit there and watch the game. It's all good. I don't.
That doesn't bug you? That's interesting.
No. It doesn't
Spadoni, does that bug you?
I don't even think about that stuff. I see it all the time.
I took Benny to a Warriors-Timberwolves game last year, and Benny has a Steph jersey, which is fine. I was like, yeah, wear your Steph Curry jersey. I didn't wear anything. I wore a swag. I didn't want to be that one Laker fan, to your point. And that's one of my rules. But if someone's wearing it, I'm not going to be upset about it. But I personally, I don't wear the jersey. A hat is fine, but a jersey is a little much.
See, I've been going to games for so long now, especially here in the Bay Area, even Warrior games. The Warriors could play OKC. There's somebody wearing a Knicks jersey or a Celtics jersey, and they just want to go enjoy a game, but they're like, hey, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not mad at you. You go into a basketball game, wear your jersey. It's no big deal. Now we're putting rules on what fans can do.
I just roll my eyes when I see you do that.
Don't be calling 911.
You can do what you want. I personally don't, but everyone can do what you want,
but I will roll my eyes.
Yeah, do what you do.
Sam, are you in or out on that?
He's in on screening calls right now. He's grinding back here.
He's grinding. Let's go to Joel in San Jose. He doesn't believe the Cowboys are good. Joel, why don't you believe the Cowboys are good?
They played Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones. This is a fool's gold team. They rely on Micah Parsons. The all world. I respect and admire Micah Parsons. They do not have a front four pass rush. They don't even have a middle linebacker. It's great that you having Baldy on today. I would love to hear Baldy discuss the strength of the linebacking core apart from Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
This team is a sham.
Well, I like that, Joel. I like that. Look, I'm looking at DeMarcus Lawrence.
He's pretty good.
He's not bad. Jonathan Hankins in the middle.
Yeah.
Not bad. Dante Fowler Jr., I don't know how much he has left.
They have
in
a
the
lot
tank.
of team speed.
You know, they do have team speed.
They have a lot of team speed.
And Stephon Gilmore is a very crafty corner.
Yeah.
He's not the same guy who won DPOY, but he's still very crafty. I like Jordan Lewis in the nickel. I don't think they're frauds. I mean,
I don't either.
The way they beat up the New York Giants says a lot. They're not just beating the Jets and the Patriots and the Giants. They're blowing them out.
Yeah.
They're blowing them out. The games are over by halftime. So
and they're the
they
ones,
get credit for that.
And they're the ones who rattled Mac Jones.
Right.
I mean, he was under duress.
Right. So I'm not going to go there. Let's go to Gabriel, Orange County. Gabriel, what's happening?
Hey, Bonta. Hi, Shesky.
How you doing?
You guys are the best, first of all.
Thank you.
Number two, the difference between Cowboys fans and Niner fans, I just want to go back to that for a second and why they're just such a hated fan base. Number one, I've been a Niner fan since 1988, right? I was a kid, and they just, they stole my heart. But ever since I grew up, I grew up around Cowboy fans. Southern Cal, they're like everywhere. And the problem with Cowboy fans is that every single year they're not just passionate about their team. They go out of their way to shove it down your throat. They go out of their way to shove it down your throat, and it's just absolutely ridiculously annoying. And that's the problem. We're passionate. Look at us. We're all over the country. We'll invade your stadium, all of that. But we don't do that, and that's the difference. I think that it's just ridiculous. That's why it's just such a hated fan base. Even when you watch them on TV, like Skip Bayless, it just makes you lose your mind at how biased they all are.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Anyway,
they are. RJ and Apple will get to you on the other side. Hang on tight because I want to get to this random jersey wearing thing. I've seen a lot of people talk about that. I don't think it's that weird at all. I like the rep where I'm from, man, no matter what. What's coming up in the game sponsored by Maker Faire. The legendary, mind-blowing Maker Faire is back in the Bay Area at the historic Mare Island. That's right. Experience creativity, innovation, and endless possibilities. 2 weekends, October 13th through the 15th, and then the 20th through the 22nd. Tickets are at makerfair.com right now. More come up on the roast, including Brian Baldinger. It's Shark Week, folks. It's 7:30 here on the roast.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Hi, welcome to the IKEA storage event.
Hi, thanks.
Whether you're looking to get the kids' toys.
It's Brian Baldinger with the NFL Network, and you're listening to The Morning Roast with Bonte and Shasky on 95.7 The Game.
The Swifties. Are we done with this?
Yesterday at baseball practice.
Are we done with this?
No, we're not. Yesterday at baseball practice, my buddy Brent comes up to me. He's like, hey, man, driving my kids in the car, and my daughter's 5. She is not happy with Bonte.
What's his daughter's name?
I forget.
What's your buddy's name?
Brent Sullivan.
Brent Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan. I love you. I love your daughter for listening. But tell your daughter, Taylor Swift doesn't belong on my screen during football games. Okay? She can go listen to Taylor Swift on her iTunes. You can pull her up on YouTube. Maybe even go to a concert. Take her to a concert, Brent Sullivan.
I love you. Be very careful with what you're doing right now. The internet will come after you.
But let me tell you, young lady, Taylor Swift should not be shown after the Kansas City's first touchdown. What's going to happen? Let's just say, hypothetically, the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl.
Instead of first down, like the Niners do, they do first down, and it's just Taylor Swift on the Jumbotron.
Right. Are we going to show Taylor Swift for every first down? Are we going to show her for every single touchdown first? I want to see the team. Let me see the fans. I don't want to see Taylor Swift. Does Taylor Swift know what a first down is right now?
Why does it get you so upset?
Because it's too much. It's too much. All right? Who cares if they're dating? Why do you get so caught up in their dating life? Jeez, let them go enjoy a game. Nobody's mad. It's just the first touchdown of the game, New York City, Sunday Night Football, NBC, Collinsworth, Tirico, Patrick Mahomes. They score a touchdown. They light it up. And they're showing Swifty in a suite jumping up and down. I don't care.
Most watched game in the NFL since the Super Bowl. 27 million viewers. You have to think some of that audience is because there's a bunch of Swifties watching it.
Roger Goodell, you have to do something about this.
He's leaning into it. Did you see the NFL Twitter account?
Is Dick Ebersol still at NBC? Somebody at NBC, please.
Dick Ebersol? Did you really drop a Dick Ebersol?
You like that knowledge, huh? That's a flex. That was a low-key flex.
I love you.
So Kansas City's going to Minnesota this week, U.S. Bank Stadium.
Uh-huh.
Now, I may give you a pass, because who would I rather see, Taylor Swift or Kirk Cousins? Boy, that's a tough one right there. I may give you a pass this week. But it's national. It's Sunday Night Football. It's the Chiefs. Kelsey didn't score on that touchdown. He didn't score.
Was it Fireman Ed? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Do you get mad when they show him?
No, because they wait till the third quarter to show him. And we know he's a fan of the football. He's a football fan.
Well, you know how I feel about Banjo Man, so...
Well, Banjo Man's, I'm not.
But like, it does frustrate me when they show Banjo Man in the stands, and I'm like, that guy.
How about this? Keep a box in the corner so we have like the constant Taylor cam in the corner, so we don't have to cut after every touchdown. We just have it there constantly.
Picture in picture.
Like, I don't even know if her music's that good.
Is that where this is originating from?
No, it's
Pandora's
not
box?
No. It's not. Not even close.
Tony loved that.
I like. Listen, I get. Hey, look, 1 week is enough.
Hate.
You showed it at Arrowhead Stadium when the Chiefs rolled the Bears. I get it. It's a big thing. But how long are we going to continue with this?
She's the biggest star in the world right now.
Beyonce was once the biggest star in the world, I don't even know she's bigger than Beyonce.
I don't know.
They don't show Beyonce after the first bucket of a basketball game.
But Beyonce was dating another musician and then married another musician. She was not married or dating one of the athletes.
Beyonce's dating Steph after every 3. Are we cutting to Beyonce?
Probably. Yeah, honestly, probably. I mean, time out. We cut to Aisha all the time, and I'm not knocking that, but I'm just saying, like, they cut to his family all the time.
Yes, that's his family.
So I'm sure other fan bases are frustrated.
Probably. That's fine. But she's right there. Aisha's they're a power couple.
They are. I agree with.
That's all I'm saying. Did they show Khloe Kardashian whenever she dated James Harden or Tristan Thompson?
Absolutely, they did.
All the time? First basket?
Yeah.
No, they would wait till the quarter breakaways, coming back from break.
We're showing,
all I'm saying
we
is
show
timing.
Rich Carter all the time.
I have no problem with
Carter or whatever.
I have no problem with them showing Taylor Swift. It's the first touchdown, and the first person they pan to is Taylor Swift, not Andy Reid, not Mahomes, not the offensive line who blew a hole wide open. Like, come on, man.
We see them all the time. We don't see Swifty every Sunday. Come on.
Yeah, and Bonte.
Apparently, she's the biggest star in the world, so apparently we do see her all the time.
It was the highest rated game. So you're going to watch no matter what because you like football, period. Okay, you're already hooked and addicted. They're trying to get that 5-year-old that's in my buddy Brent's car right now to watch a little football with her dad in the living room.
All right, and that'll last for what?
Well,
a year?
It starts.
2 years?
It's a start.
2 years.
It brings you in.
And then when baby girl, Brent Sullivan's daughter's like, where's Taylor Swift at? Oh, she's on tour. Okay, cool.
Well,
turn his football game
But
off.
by then, you're hooked into the NFL. So you
Exactly.
don't
No, you're not. It comes in and
Taylor
out.
Swift is the
You're not
bait,
getting
and
hooked.
then you get hooked on
Taylor-
the NFL, and then you're a fan for life.
They're
of the
watching.
Chiefs.
They're watching just to see Taylor Swift, and it's sweet to see what she's wearing. Come on.
Yeah, my
Come on.
wife watches the Super Bowl at times just to see the halftime show and the
There's
outfits.
a lot of people. Well, Anna does that too. That's
So,
fine.
I mean, I'm
That's
not
fine.
knocking.
All I'm saying is we have to show her after the first touchdown. She's the first cutaway after Pacheco touches pay dirt.
Would you rather
She's
see the Kelsey mom again?
Yes! I'd rather see Andy Reid. I'd rather see the sideline going crazy. I'd rather see Pacheco's touchdown dance.
Do you want to see Andy Reid? He doesn't go crazy.
I want to see
He goes like
Pacheco's
this. This is
touchdown
Andy Reid,
dance.
as I put a notebook over my face.
Yeah, so what? I want to see him do this. I want to see the mustache. Gosh. The Swiftie thing is just out of control, man.
It's really bugging you.
Just wait till she comes down to the sideline.
I wonder how many people are as upset as you are.
I think a lot of people are.
You
I'm
really
seeing
do?
the text. Yeah.
It does not. I'm neither moved nor angry or anything. I'm neutral. I feel like Steiny.
She is from Reading, Pennsylvania.
That's a feeling I do not want. I love
Right
this
when I
Steiny.
said that sentence, I was
You
like,
regretted it.
I'm like, that is not going to age well.
Yeah, no, it's not. RJ and Napa. RJ and Napa.
I love you, Steiny.
Gosh.
I'm a man of
I don't have no problem with Taylor Swift, RJ. I got no problem with
do.
it. All I'm just
No,
saying, the
you do.
timing of everything.
Uh-huh.
Well, you got to just shove her down my throat. Jesus Christ.
Good morning, gentlemen. I
Good
just
morning.
want to say I agree with Bonte 1,000% on the Taylor Swift thing. The good news is I don't think this relationship's going to last more than this season. So we just got to deal with it for the time being.
Do you have insider knowledge on this?
No, just based on past history.
Oh.
And then I agree with Joe 1,000% on the jersey thing. If you're at a Warriors Timberwolves game and some guy's walking around in the Knicks jersey, nobody cares that you like the Knicks.
Exactly.
So quit being a cheap bastard. Buy a Warriors hat. Sit in with the crowd. And the other thing I want to say about the Cowboys. So I want to give you some perspective. I'm a Detroit Lions fan.
Okay.
I'm as excited as anybody about the, upward trajectory or apparent upward trajectory of the team. But I have no illusions of grandeur. I mean, I hope we win 10 games this year. I hope we go to the playoffs. I hope we win the division. But I'm not a Cowboys fan sitting here year after year after year after year with the same lame quarterback, the same lame coach, and saying, oh, yeah, this is the year. This is the year, definitely. My big question for Cowboys fans is why? So anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good Tuesday.
Thanks,
call.
RJ.
Good call, RJ. Good call. There's a text that I wanted to read that I want to ask you.
Baldy in 5 minutes. I
Yeah,
can't
Baldy-
wait to
yeah,
ask him about Taylor
Baldy in
Swift.
4 minutes. Well, he said something about Taylor Swift last week. He doesn't get it. He said it. We asked him about it last week. He goes, yeah, I'm not a Swiftie.
Well, maybe he's changed his opinion.
I highly doubt that.
I mean, Sam Lubman changed his opinion on Farhan Zaidi. Anything can happen in the world.
So if you don't throw him under the bus, you too. You're the same boat. To both of you Giants fans. Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys, best podcast out there.
It
Go
got
download that.
spicy
Yeah,
yesterday.
it should get spicy.
95.7, the excuses.
Where was that text at? Comcast business text line. But he basically said, and whoever he is, I can't find a number, but he said, did you have a problem? Remember the Miami Heat finals? Mm-hmm. It was a whiteout. Mm-hmm. And there was one Warrior fan there. Mm-hmm. All popped out. Did you have a problem with that Warrior fan being at the finals representing the Golden State Warriors? Because a lot of Warrior fans thought it was cool. It's like, look at our dubs. We got fans internationally. And the Warriors weren't the Warriors of today back in those finals.
Being completely honest, I mean, maybe I hit the like button on someone's tweet, but it's not like I walked around like, you see that Warrior fan at the Heat game? Like, I'm just being real.
You took some pride in that.
I mean,
you took some
maybe
pride
a little.
in that. I took some pride in
Maybe
it. I was
a
like,
little.
look at the dubs. Let's go.
I mean, like Marlon Man, like was that?
Well,
like,
that's jump the shark.
Okay.
Marlon Man is jump the shark.
Okay.
He does it for the clicks and
It's
the likes.
one thing to like wear a hat.
Because I've talked to Marlon's man before. I've interviewed him.
Oh, you have?
And I watch him. He does it. He has two phones, and he's just looking to buy
Wait a
people
minute.
drinks. And he's looking. Yeah, absolutely. It's a little too much. He's looking for attention. That's not when I go wear a jersey at a random game. and I wear my Niners hat, and people are like Raider games.
Well,
I used to go to a lot of games with Big Dog City at the Oakland Coliseum.
Okay.
I used to wear my Niners hoodie. I'm like, oh, you a Niner fan? Yeah, I am. I don't care.
Okay.
But I'm there watching football because I love the game. But I'm going to rep who I am, and I'm just do me. I'm a Niner fan. I'm not with y'all. I'm here to watch a football game, though. But let it be known, I rock with the red and gold. That's that. And we move on. Marlon Man is doing too much. I interviewed him. He's something else, man. He's something else.
So Marlon Man's where you draw the line.
That's a little much. That's a little much. I mean, the guy just wants to be seen on television, and he's going to every game. And now you got multiple Marlins men.
Yeah.
There's like this Asian dude who wears a Marlins jersey. There's other dudes who's like, come on, man, let's stop.
I remember when Alex Smith wore a San Diego Padres hat to a Giants game, and everyone lost their minds.
Wow.
Remember that?
I do remember that. He's from San Diego. He looks high. Shout out Reggie Bush and Alex Smith. I do like it's somebody on YouTube too. You know, good convos come from that. Good conversations when you're wearing that. Oh man, you root for that? Huh? Blah, blah, blah. You start sparking up a conversation.
Well, what I always say is this, like especially in football, because the games always seem to be about the same. If you're that big of a fan of the Cowboys, why are you at this Niners Seahawks game when your team's playing at the same time?
Well, that is a problem.
You see what I'm saying?
That is a problem. I won't do that.
Okay.
If my team's not playing,
all right,
I will go to your game in my gear. Now, if you're at the game and your team's playing, then you're not a real fan.
Like, Warriors, Kings.
So like,
I roll my eyes when I see Laker fans show up in Kobe jersey.
Yeah, well,
I do. That's just me.
Raider fans sometimes.
Careful.
I knew they were. Yeah, careful. Be careful with that. Sunday Night Football, for example, there was a Raider fan sitting in front of me. They played out Sunday Night Football, so I get it. He goes to the Niner game in the afternoon, watch the Raiders on television later on. I got no problem with that. No problem with that. 888-957-9570. We got Baldy coming up. 510. Bonte, my wife says she hates you for your take on Taylor. Tell your wife I love her too for listening.
Well, here's what I would say.
I don't want to see her first after a touchdown. That's all. I think Pacheco scored. Wow. Oh, cut the Taylor Swift. Travis Kelce did not score. Does she date Travis Kelce? Don't we show the significant other when their husband does something great or their boyfriend does something great? Is Taylor Swift dating Pacheco?
I mean, the amount of cutaways that a broadcast has that would trigger me, like on the Taylor Swift scale, it's way low. Like Taylor does not. Like whatever.
I'm not triggered by it.
I laugh.
I just was like, wow,
you're mad.
Like, no. I'm explaining myself, and people are mad at the way I'm explaining myself. I'm making personal.
I think more people agree with you than they want to admit.
They do. They're showing
that
me.
I agree with.
People do agree.
I do get a kick out of it.
That's the first thing we show at the Pacheco runs. Let me see my offensive lineman get some hugs.
Is she more distracting than LeVar Ball for Kelsey's game? I'm teasing now. Now I'm teasing. Now I'm being ridiculous.
I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. It's Shark Week. Let's go. Oh, man, it's our favorite time of the week, man. Football season, 7:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. We recap week number 4 of the NFL. We're starting to see some teams separate themselves from the pack. Brian Baldinger joins us every single week, and he's presented by our proud partner, Golden State. Serving the Bay Area for 3 generations, building better starts with Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoldenStateLumber.com. We'll get to Brock Purdy, 20 at 21, Christian McCaffrey, and his dominance in the first month of the season. But, Baldy, we have an issue here. And we ended last week's conversation talking about the Swifties. And I understood you're not a Swiftie, nor am I. And my issue this week is Pacheco goes and scores that touchdown. Chiefs go up 7-0. And the first cutaway on television is Taylor Swift celebrating in the suite. Now, I have no problem with cutaways with Taylor Swift. But the first person you cut to after the Chiefs score a touchdown, I just think it's a little too much. And I get the NFL capitalizing on their popularity. But Kelce didn't score. I want to see Pacheco high-fiving his offensive lineman for blowing holes open against that Jets front. I want to see Patrick Mahomes running down the sideline screaming at MetLife Stadium. I don't. The first person after a touchdown, I don't want to see Taylor Swift. Baldy, am I wrong for that?
No, you're not wrong, and especially a Pacheco. You know, he went to school at Rutgers, like 20 miles away, and he's an excellent dancer after he scores too. Like, you don't want to really miss that celebration dance of his. Yes. I'm at NFL Films now. He grew up right down the road here in Vineland, New Jersey. I want to see the Jersey kid, you know. But however, Bonte, if you're stuck with a dog game like we saw last night between Seattle and the Giants, you can cut his way to Taylor Swift anytime you want.
Yeah,
like, to me,
true.
like, she should have just stayed in the box, you know, from when we watched her against Kansas City to the Giant game, because that was dreadful last night.
Oh, that was awful. That was awful. I mean, Daniel Jones had no chance back there. Now, I don't know how good of a quarterback he is. I don't think he's worth the $40 million he's getting, a 4-year extension for $160. And I understand there's an opt-out after next season. But that may have been the worst offensive line play I've ever seen on Monday Night Football. It was absolutely dreadful.
I agree, Bonte. I said so this morning. You know, and the irony is Seattle was playing 5 backup offensive linemen, including 2 rookies. You know, and so, you know, you've got Olu at center. You've got Bradford at right guard. They were 4th and 5th round players, and they didn't look like rookies in there. They looked like they were a really well-coached group. And the Giants, honestly, the right guard doesn't know what the center's doing. The center doesn't know what the left guard is doing. And Daniel Jones has that confused look on his face. Well, he usually has the confused look on his face. But it was even more confusing looking to him last night. That was the worst. That's the single worst offensive performance I've seen this year. And it might be one of the worst I've seen in recent years.
Wow.
It was just that bad.
Wow. Well, let's contrast that with what I thought was some of the most excellent football I've seen played at the quarterback position from the 49ers and Brock Purdy the other day. The anticipation, command at the line, arm strength, ball placement, understanding pre-snap, post-snap, who to attack. I mean, Baldy, I don't know what he needs to do for some of the people that are doubting him at this point. He feels like he is the best Niner quarterback since Steve Young, since Jeff Garcia. Am I wrong?
No, but, you know, I remember back when Bill Walsh was coaching and West Coast offense was in vogue and everybody was taking a piece of it someplace. Holmgren was taking it to Green Bay, et cetera, et cetera. They used to have these Friday practices, Joe. And it was like, okay, the goal of practice today, the ball not to hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the whole Friday practice. Ball didn't hit the ground. You know, you got Jerry out there. I mean, you got all the Hall of Famers out there playing. Brent Jones, whatever. The ball didn't hit the ground. Like, on Sunday, the ball didn't hit the ground. Like, it's almost impossible to play that perfect like that. And it's not like they're throwing screen passes. Like, it's just, you know, it's just beautiful perfection in what they did, and he makes it all go. And his ability to make these snap reads and get off it and get to the next guy is about as fast as anybody in this business right now.
Wow. So you're saying his brain, his football mind is as good as anyone in the games?
It's a beautiful mind. I mean, that should be the documentary right now. Start putting it together, Joe.
I love it. You know, you've watched this offense for, 5-6 years in a row, breaking down every single game. I'm not trying to diminish Jimmy or what they were prior or whatever, but are they doing anything different offensively in terms of the schematics? Because it just feels like guys are wide open, or even if they have a step or two, he sees it and recognizes it and is hitting it on target every single time. Is that a byproduct of the play calling, the quarterback, or just they're all in lockstep?
Well, they have McCaffrey, which makes a difference. And Aiyuk has developed into an elite player. And he wasn't that 2 years ago, but he is now. And so those two elements certainly help. But, you know, they ran just basically a hit screen on the outside where McCaffrey scores, you know, and he jumps over the rookie corner, Clark, on the play. But, you know, to see that screen set up on the outside, I don't even know how you practice it, Joe, because, like, literally Kittle gets to his spot and Debo gets to his spot, and all of a sudden they get to their spot, and there's a defender trying to run through them to get to McCaffrey, and they're all there. Like, they ran this screen route 20 yards downfield, and everybody got to their spots. It was like, you know, it's like, how do you even practice to make something look so perfect? And so, you know, it's all that. But, you know, what you don't see from Brock right now, what you would see from Jimmy, and I'm not here to criticize Jimmy, but what you don't see is, and I know you guys are going to understand this, is you remember like it would be late in the play, maybe into the third second, late in the progression, and Jimmy looked like he would just get stuck, and he'd make that snap throw late over the middle, and you're just holding your breath.
Yes.
That somebody didn't tip it or intercept it. Like it never seems like it ever gets late to Brock in the progression where he's just frozen in the pocket. He's going to get blasted and he's going to make this throw where you just want to close your eyes. You didn't see one of those on Sunday, and you see very few of those type of plays because he's getting through it to the open guy so quickly.
You know, Baldy, we called them the Jimmy O-No throws. There's going to be about 3 to 5 Jimmy O-No throws. As you mentioned, you hold your breath. You hold your breath, and you say, all right, we can live with that one. Move on to the next play. But I don't feel that with Brock Purdy. You're absolutely right. He looks like a point guard. He looks like Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and he's giving his wide receivers a chance to get that gap. Before we get to Brandon Aiyuk, we have to start with Christian McCaffrey. Whenever you break a Jerry Rice record. Joe and I were talking about this yesterday, Baldy, at Warriors Media Day. Wilt Chamberlain has all these records, and Steph is now breaking them in the Warriors franchise history. And they're like, wow, Wilt Chamberlain is like a mythical character. The numbers he put up were just stupid. With Jerry Rice, you were in the league in 1987 when he scored 23 touchdowns and scored a touchdown in 12 straight games. Christian McCaffrey just broke that record. Scored a touchdown in 13 straight games. And now when you start rewriting the history books in this 49ers franchise, in the history of the 49ers franchise, now all of a sudden you're talking about something. And this guy is now putting himself in a category to where you're talking about MVP. He's in that conversation. I know we're early in the season, but Christian McCaffrey is right there as being one of the best players in the league.
Well, that's what I said. It's one of the reasons why the offense is, the only offense in the league right now that scored 30 or more points in every game. Like, they're just consistently dynamic, and he is a huge part of it in all the different ways that they use him. I just hope that, they sort of manage his touches over a 17-game schedule. Yeah. I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, unless your name is LaDainian Tomlinson, everybody can succumb to, like, just too many touches at that position.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my only caution. And, look, it's difficult. Why would you want to take him off the field?
I know.
He seems indefensible.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to start thinking about that. And you can't think about the records. But, I mean, I remember his first game. When he came, like Jimmy hit him on a check down. Like he's just standing on the sideline. He's like, okay, on this play, I just go and I'm just the safety valve in case everything breaks down.
Right.
And Jimmy just kind of found him and he started moving. And next thing you know, he probably started that streak, but he's in the end zone. And, he can score on the field on any given play. And, people say, oh, it's a home run hitter. Okay, well, and people want to put, different players in that category. But legitimately, he can score from anywhere on the field on any given play. If you just, if you're not pursuing correctly, if you're not having proper tackling angles and all that stuff from anywhere on the field at any given time, and there's just very few players that have that ability.
Brian Baldinger here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Joins us every single Tuesday at 7:30. We consider him our modern-day John Madden because he knows it all. He breaks it down and the players respect him. And you brought up Brandon Aiyuk a couple moments ago, Baldy, saying that he wasn't where he's at today. And we agree. 6 catches, 6 targets, 148. He had the 8 catches, 8 targets week one against Pittsburgh while you were there in the booth. When you go back and look at that draft, I think 2 years ago you could say, boy, Dallas has CeeDee Lamb, Broncos have Jerry Jeudy, the Raiders had Henry Ruggs at the time, and you had Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, and you had all these receivers in that class. The Niners got stuck with Brandon Aiyuk. Boy, what a whiff. Now when you look back, you're saying there's Justin Jefferson, and then you can make the argument, Brandon Aiyuk and CeeDee Lamb, you can flip a coin right now because Brandon Aiyuk's playing that well, Baldy.
Well, what he's doing different than even CD, though, is just the big chunk plays like we saw. We're not seeing that from CD with any regularity right now in this offense, and you'll see it on Sunday. I mean, exactly what CD's averaging, but he's not getting 12 yards a catch right now. And so you're not getting the explosive plays down the field. But one thing about when Brandon was coming out of Arizona State, like he was a great route runner in college. CD's a good route runner too, and he's extremely tough. I can't take anything away from CD. He's a great player. But, Aiyuk was an elite route runner. And the thing about route running is why isn't everybody a great route runner? Like, that's all you do is run routes. Like, why isn't everybody a great route runner, right? Like, that's what you should ask yourself. But there's a hidden little ability that the great route runners have, and that is they can change directions without losing speed. So some guys have to break down to change direction. Some guys' ankles just bend. Their body just like, you watch Stephon Diggs run routes. And like some of these guys, and Aiyuk's in that category, Keenan Allen, some of these guys can maintain top flight speed and change directions a couple of times. And that's what turns corners around and makes them think like you're going on a go route and they're 10 yards off you and you're on a stop route. And that's just, not everybody has that ability. And he does. And now you're hitting them in stride. Now, and that's the fundament, that's a foundation of the accuracy of your quarterback, who's averaging over 72% completion percentage right now, and averaging over 10 yards, air yards per attempt right now, which is tops in the league. But that's the function of that, is he's hitting him in stride, and he doesn't break down once he catches it. Like some guys got to go jump and catch the ball and make sure they secure it first because they don't trust their hands. Well, that's not Aiyuk. Aiyuk catches the ball without ever jumping, because he trusts his hands.
Baldy, back to CMC for just a split second here. And you're talking about Aiyuk, and I feel like because he gets great separation and because they have to honor the other spots and other guys, Kittle and Debo and Christian McCaffrey, Aiyuk's open downfield. But I feel like CMC commands so much coverage. You watch this every week. I mean, this guy feels like a Hall of Fame talent, period. But I'm watching what I'm seeing right now, and I'm saying, this is MVP-like production as well. I know it's only October. I understand that. And I know that quarterbacks get all the love. If ever there was a case for a guy to be in the MVP conversation, it feels like CMC in this offense would be it.
Well, look, if you put Steph Curry in, I don't know, the Knicks offense, he might not look like Steph Curry. Like he might, he's still going to be a great player. He's still going to hit 3-pointers. He's still going to see he's still going to be a great player. But I don't know if he's the best player in the league, if he's in the Knicks offense. Like Christian McCaffrey had 400 touches, and he was the best player in the field when he played in Carolina a couple years ago before the injury. But in this offense, like it's not catered to him. It's the same offense, but they do a lot of things with him, with whether it's the motions, whether it's the movement, the cutbacks. They run a lot of the same plays that they've been running. But he's just an elite talent in an elite offense with an elite play caller right now. And a quarterback who's playing as well as any quarterback in this league. So I think it's a combination of all those things right now, Joe.
I love that. Everybody's losing their minds online about Nick Bosa. No sacks. And, we're not seeing him in the backfield making big plays. You put out a video basically explaining that he was putting a lot of pressure on Dobbs. What are you seeing from Nick Bosa thus far?
Well, Josh Dobbs ran the ball 12 times the other day, and I think 3 of them were designed runs. Most of it he was scrambling because the pocket was being collapsed by Nick Bosa. He ruined both tackles, DJ Humphries, the rookie Paris Johnson. He collapses the pocket like nobody else. Now, sometimes other guys get sacks because of that. Sometimes the quarterback escapes. Sometimes the quarterback, to Josh Dobbs' credit, he did the same thing to the Cowboys. He gets the ball out quick, and he's very decisive in his reads. The 49ers are his own defense. He knows where the soft spot is in his zone. He got the ball out. They double move Michael Wilson on the outside against Ambry Thomas. The ball's out quick. But he's there. He's hitting the quarterback. He had 4 or 5 quarterback hits, but he's routinely collapsing the pocket. And sacks, look, Khalil Mack didn't have a single sack until Sunday. He got 6 on Sunday. Right. So these things can come in bunches. You can get 3 in a hurry, and you get right back in the sack race if that's what you're interested in. But right now, the defense is playing at a high level. Arizona did some good things in that game. They made it a game, to their credit. The quarterback did the same thing to Dallas the week before. They ran the ball right down their throats. The quarterback made a lot of big-time plays. And you can't just dismiss Josh Dobbs because you don't know who Josh Dobbs is. But Nick Bosa is doing his job. And the worst thing he can do, honestly, guys, is try to, add to a sack total and not play disciplined football and just play his own game. That would be the worst thing he can do.
No doubt. Baldy, as we do get ready for Cowboys week, they're coming in for Sunday Night Football. Michael Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and his defense that is flying around. That was a dominant performance over the New England Patriots, and I'm probably understating that right now. How much has Spencer Burford and Colton McKivitz improved to the point to where, all right, are they going to be able to hold their own against Micah Parsons and company on Sunday? What have you seen from that right side of the offensive line as we get to the second quarter of the season, Baldy?
Well, like I think I said last week, I mean, they play so well as a unit right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just separate right side, left side. I mean, they're playing as a unit, and they're not committing penalties. They're not putting them in negative positions, and they're giving the quarterback enough time to make these decisions. So they're playing very well. But, like, Micah Parsons is just a different animal. He's just different now. He banged his ankle up the other day. He's the same thing. He didn't have any sacks. Well, his win rate is ridiculous, how quickly he wins. And if your quarterback gets flushed and he starts to chase you, no quarterback's getting away from him.
Right.
None. They have scored 4 defensive touchdowns in 4 games.
Yep. Wow.
4.
Yep.
You know, they've scored 8 offensive touchdowns. They've scored 4 defensive touchdowns.
Do they have the best team speed on defense, Baldy, in the league?
Well, look, I mean, last week, you know, the decisions that the quarterback was making.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's you know, like what Mac Jones was doing. I can't imagine any quarterback keeping a job in this league making those decisions. I mean, it's just he could have thrown a couple more interceptions. To be honest with
Baldy,
you.
looking back on it, like Trey Lance is obviously he's not a player in the NFL. Mac Jones isn't far behind.
We don't know about Trey Lance. We got to see him get a shot. I get it. Right now,
he's a third stringer. B.
Right.
I think I've seen enough of Mac Jones to go. Like, this isn't a starting quarterback.
There you
not
go.
with what they have.
Yeah.
And not the way the offense is constituted. There's not an ounce of creativity to that offense.
Really?
Not an ounce. You could say Billy O'Brien's off. I don't care who he is. Like, there's no creativity from motions to movement to surprises to, like, nothing. Like, I could close my eyes and tell you what they're doing on most plays that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it is so safe what they do offensively. Like, they don't challenge you mentally at all, pre-snap, during a play at all, and anything that they do.
That's sad. That's sad. This Cowboys offense, without Kellen Moore, he's now in L.A. coaching up Justin Herbert and that Chargers offense. Mike McCarthy took over the play calling. Any big differences there with the Cowboys offense this year as opposed to last year? What challenges are they going to present this Niners defense?
Well, I say they're, you know, most teams have a red zone offense. I think that Cowboys have a dead zone offense. Like, they get down to the 5-yard line, they can't score. I mean, it's been going on every week. It's happened 4 times in a row against Arizona. Like, 4 second-half possessions ended up inside the 10. They didn't score a single touchdown. Same thing happened last week. Twice, they got down to the 5, they couldn't score. And you watch what they're doing. Like, it looks like they're just grabbing straws. All right, there's going to be a fade route that's going to be incomplete. There's going to be a late read over the middle because they take the first read away, and Dak's going to be stuck and throw the ball into the turf. It's actually a month of just futility when they get close. And so I said, like, everybody in Dallas is all upset because I showed their dead zone offense. And they're like, well, if they win 38-3, what are you complaining about? I'm like, they ain't beating the 49ers if they are kicking field goals or getting stopped on downs inside the 10. They're not beating the 49ers if they don't. So if you want to win big games, if you want to make a statement, if you want to get on a plane ride home on Sunday night and feel good about yourself and beat a great team like the 49ers, you're going to have to convert.
Yeah.
You know, when you get those opportunities. And right now they're not doing it. And that you know, you could say Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, you know, what's the problem? Well, it's a problem one way or the other, and they got to figure it out as a group right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. Can that Dallas Cowboys defense slow down this run game by the 49ers and Brock Purdy? And what you just said there, we're going to be looking at this Cowboys offense, especially if they do get into the red zone, or as you dubbed it, the dead zone. But we know Cowboy fans can be a little sensitive, Baldy. But you know, you got a lot of fans around the NFL, including Javon Holland. I want to play this for you, Baldy. Just let me know how it makes you feel, because I think we appreciate your work, but to see the players appreciate your work, check this out.
Really, the one that's more important is what Baldy thinks of me. That's like the most important. He's like the best analyst I've come across. So I love what Baldy says. If I'm in Baldy's breakdowns at the end of the week, then I know I did something right.
I mean, Baldy.
That's so cool.
These players love it. I see you share it on Instagram all the time. These players are aware of what you're doing. They're waiting for your breakdowns. And when I say you're the modern day John Madden, I'm not just saying that out there, Baldy, because you love the game. You're out there on the turf before the game. You're walking the field. You're checking out the tailgates. You have a lot of Madden qualities to you. Now, there'll never, ever be another John Madden. I don't want to do that. It's like comparing quarterbacks to Tom Brady and Joe Montana. But these players really respect you. How does that make you feel, Baldy?
It makes me feel good, Bonte. It really does. I mean, I work really hard at building relationships with these players. Like, for example, I'm on the field last week, Philadelphia, Washington, and I've never met Emmanuel Forbes. But I knew he was going to get a heavy dose of A.J. Brown in the game. And I just, I respected the kid coming out of Mississippi State. I just went up, introduced myself, and I started talking to him. And one thing he said to me, he's pretty confident now. He said, most corners, like, they'll be happy to win a 50-50 ball. He goes, if there's a 50-50 ball up there, I'm getting it 80% of the time. No 50-50. So I actually said it in the broadcast. He actually did get his hands on one. He got his own teammate had some friendly fire and knocked him out. But I enjoy meeting these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be that analyst from arm's reach away that is criticizing somebody. I want to talk to Chase Young before a game and see what he's doing different this year and where he's at. I want to talk to Lane Johnson about certain things. The only way to become the best analyst you could be is actually by talking to the players and the coaches and see what's on their mind and what they're thinking and what they'll share with you. And I'm there to soak it all up. I'm never, ever going to be that analyst, Bonte, that's ever going to act like I know it all, because I don't. But as long as I keep trying to learn, I'm going to keep teaching the people that want to listen.
That's what makes you the best. You don't take yourself seriously, Baldy, and what you just said there. You know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's
who's gotten mad at you, though?
Right.
Come on, keep it real. Somebody's gotten mad at you, because believe me, I've said plenty of things about different players, and they're not happy about it. Who's gotten the most mad in a fun way?
You know what's funny is I've had certain players get real mad. Like, for example, Hassan Reddick got really pissed at me when I broke down the Super Bowl. And a lot of players were slipping on the field to Super Bowl. So I show Hassan Reddick having basically no impact in the game. And I show a couple plays like they couldn't get off the field in the second half. And I showed players slipping too. So anyways, like, I was critical of Hassan in the game. He's 19.5 sacks. He ruined, Brock Purdy's, playoff and the 49ers playoff game, the whole thing. And he came after me. He goes, how the hell do you, criticize me when you know how bad the field was? I'm like, how many times you change your cleats? You change it? I saw some players not slip at all. So I just held my ground. So Hassan he's from Camden, New Jersey, literally 15 minutes away from here. And I just said, look, if you got a problem with me, Hassan, just come to the film room. You know where I'm at. I've known you since your sophomore year at Temple.
Yeah.
So, if you got a problem, come to the film room, show me where I'm wrong. So anyways, that thing, blows up. So I see him at training camp this year. So I go up and he's there practice, and I go up to him. I go, Hassan, do we have a problem? Me and you, do we have a problem? He goes, no, we cool. We're cool, Baldy. I'm like, look, I want to put you in my breakdowns all I can, Hassan. I love you.
Right.
But I'm going to be critical too if you make no impact in the game and you're blaming your poor play on the grass field. That's no player should do that.
No.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll stand my ground. Come to the film room. If I'm wrong, show me I'm wrong. Brandon Marshall got on me one time about, I said, he was dogging his route. And he goes, and he was getting on me. He was like, Baldy, they actually teach us to run it like that. I'm like, get out of here, Brandon. That's nonsense. You're just not exploding off the line. He goes, Baldy, I'm telling you, it's the craziest. He was laughing at me. He goes, it's the craziest thing. They teach me to slow play this play. I've never done it before, so I'm just trying to do what they're telling me to do.
Unbelievable. Where are you at this weekend before we let you go, Baldy?
Well, I'm going to go up and see what New England's got. Do they have a quarterback or they don't have a quarterback? Do the Saints have a quarterback or don't they have a quarterback? Because if you don't have a quarterback in this league right now, guys, first of all, as a fan, Joe and Bonte, the game stinks.
Yes,
right? You came and watch it. So you can't get off the field on third down. The game stinks if you have a bad quarterback play. If you have two bad quarterbacks going at it, you better have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
Well, hopefully Belichick comes up to you and say, hey, Baldy, I loved your breakdown last week on Mac Jones. You're right. He can't play quarterback. Maybe you're going to see Zappy this week.
You know what
Who
I would
knows?
say? The breakdown from that game should be Tim Wakefield's knuckleball.
Okay. In honor of.
Yes, exactly.
In honor of.
See you, buddy.
Baldy, have a good one, man. We'll talk to you next week.
God, I love that, man.
Good stuff, man. Real quickly, the injury report here on the roast. funny. We always talk about weekly guests and who we have to have on, who we want on for basketball season, football season. It's like we go into Nahegan's office. I've been doing this for 3 years. I've got to have Baldy weekly. I've got to have him. We need Baldy in our life. He breaks it down better than anyone out there, and I love his insight there. A lot on Brandon Aiyuk, a lot on Christian McCaffrey. We'll get to that on the other side. But what if I told you Draymond Green's ankle sprain is not that bad? I asked him yesterday. I said, how's the ankle? Coach, dude, I'm good. I'll be ready to roll.
Oh, you guys are cool?
Yeah, we're real cool. We did a promo together for the second straight year.
Nice.
Dapped up each other, shared some laughs. Yeah, it was all good. Draymond's all good. We're professional. Look, professional athletes respect you. If you just, they may disagree with this, Baldy said, but if you hide and you're ripping them and hiding and stuff like that, they don't respect that.
Gotcha.
Show my face. Hey, I was wrong. Teach me like Baldy. Well, Draymond Green, he's optimistic. He'll be back on the court sooner rather than later. Said he's a fast healer. Sprained his ankle when he landed on the foot of Jonathan Kuminga during a pickup game at Chase Center. So opening night is 3 weeks away. Hopefully Draymond Green is ready to roll against the Phoenix Suns. That was the injury report brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping get your workers get their lives back for over 40 years. Speaking of Boxer & Gerson, we haven't heard from Hillary in a while. How's the Jimmy G experience going for her? What's coming up in the game? Sponsored by Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises. George Consos joins us at 8:30. Farhan will also get into the 49ers and the Warriors. Wide open phone lines, 888-957-9570. It is Cowboys week here at 95.7 The Game.
what technology can do. So great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to now.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Shout out to Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Good morning to all the graveyard shift workers getting off work. Hopefully you had a great night. All the garbage men, janitors, longshoremen, all the overnight dancers. It's time to get some sleep. Time to get some sleep and put that money in the shoebox, baby. You know what I'm talking about. Good morning to all the teachers, all the Swifties. I give you love. Good morning to the Swifties and all the 5-year-olds. Prince Sullivan, tell your daughter I still love her. To everybody's wives that loves the Swiftie. What is it? Maeve, I love you. Good morning to all the Swifties. I'm glad you're... glowingly of him. And even Joe Lacob, I had a couple words with Joe Lacob yesterday.
Wait. Is this an exclusive, Bonte?
No, it wasn't exclusive. It was just small talk. You know, just two friends talking, just chopping it up, you know.
With your employer? That